It's time for a DIY protein treatment. Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. We're not often in here, are we? I don't know if you've ever seen my kitchen before, but here it is. Give you the 360. Not very exciting. The reason we're in my kitchen is because we are going to be doing a DIY gelatin treatment. So why would you do a gelatin treatment? Well, it's a protein treatment. If your hair is feeling overly soft, if the curls are dropping, if your hair is feeling limp, if you have a lot of excess frizz, but that frizz feels soft rather than rough and dry, then your hair might need a boost of protein. And my hair is not terrible by any means. Like, this is a week old hair and the curls are still there, but I noticed, I was looking back at some videos from about a year ago, and I noticed that my curls just seem a lot looser and a lot less tight than they were a year ago. Now that might just be because my hair is changing. Our hair changes all the time. It can go tighter or looser. It happens. But I thought, you know what? It's been a really long time since I've done an actual protein treatment. That's what I'm going to do today. And I thought, what a great opportunity to show you how to do one. The great thing about gelatin treatments is they are really cheap. They are easy to do and they work really well. And one of the reasons they work so well is because gelatin is hydrolyzed collagen. Hydrolyzed means that the actual protein molecules are broken down small enough to actually be able to adhere to the hair, stick to the hair for longer than just one wash. Because most DIY protein treatments, you know, when people say like put yogurt on your hair or avocado or any of these things, they might work for one wash, but any protein molecules are too big to actually penetrate the hair. They just sit on the top of the hair, which is fine, but only until you wash it again. And after you wash it, the effect is gone. But with something that's been hydrolyzed, like gelatin, the protein molecules are small enough to properly do a job and to last for much longer than just one wash. So I'm going to take you over to my kettle and we'll get started. So seeing as we are in my kitchen, the lighting is going to be far from its usual, but we're just going to go with it. And this is the gelatin that I have, and I got this from, I can't remember, it was either eBay or Amazon a really long time ago. As you can see, I've used a lot of it, and it's just this powdered stuff. And I'm just going to use a regular dessert spoon, and you need about a tablespoon of gelatin, but I don't measure it too particularly. I just tend to use one of these dessert spoons and heap it up like this. Okay, so you add your spoon of gelatin powder and then just boiled water. It needs to be really hot water in order to dissolve the gelatin. And then you're just going to stir like your life depends on it. It does take a lot of stirring, and you will at certain points look at it and think, this is not dissolving, what's going on, I'm doing something wrong. Just keep stirring, I promise. I haven't cut any of the stirring out of this, I've just sped it up. So you can see actually it does take quite a long time. As you can see, it's starting to dissolve. Just keep stirring. It looks like it's lumpy, it looks like it's not dissolving. Just keep going. And it will actually dissolve. It doesn't have to be 100% dissolved, but you want to have no big lumps left in the water. It kind of looks a little bit grainy maybe when you're finished, but don't worry, because once you let that sit while you get yourself ready to use it, the rest of that gelatin is going to just dissolve into the water. Sorry, you can probably hear my kids in the background because when I'm recording this voiceover, everybody's come home, so yeah, no more quiet time. But there you go, it's mostly done now. Right, so now that's pretty much dissolved, the next thing I'm going to do is go and get myself completely ready and organised, ready to put the gelatin treatment on my hair. It does smell gross, by the way, but don't worry, because we have an antidote to that coming in a minute. Okay, we're in the bathroom. So what you're going to need is your gelatin mix, any old conditioner that you would normally use, and a shower cap. Oh, and probably a clip as well. Now, I definitely recommend detangling your hair before you do this. And because we're going to do this gelatin treatment on wet, dirty hair, we're not going to wash our hair first. I would recommend just gently dry detangling your hair before you wet it like this. So of course you can finger detangle, you can use a brush. I tend to just finger detangle my hair. It works really well for me. And I do this normally before I wash my hair anyway, because it saves so much time in the shower. And also, your hair is actually stronger when it's dry than when it's wet. Now, of course, if you have really bad tangles and you're struggling to get them out dry, then by wetting your hair and adding a load of conditioner for slip, that can really help as well. So there's not a right or a wrong way to detangle, but if we're going to do a gelatin treatment on dirty hair, which is the way that I normally do it, then yeah, definitely I would recommend dry detangling. So that's it, it's pretty much detangled, and now I am just going to wet my hair. It doesn't have to be dripping, soaking wet. You kind of want it reasonably wet, but probably best for it to not be dripping, because you're going to then be adding the gelatin treatment and you don't want that gelatin treatment dripping all over you. So just get your hair good and damp. You could use a spray bottle. I tend to just stick my head under the faucet. Make sure that it's wet all the way through and then squeeze out any excess water. Because like I said, we don't really want it dripping everywhere. So now this is where we turn the gelatin treatment into something a little bit less gross. Also, having had that time to sit, you can probably see that there, it's gone lovely and clear, so those last little bits of gelatin have completely dissolved into the mixture, into the water. So now what we do is we take our conditioner and we just squirt like that. And now it's just a case of mixing that in. And this is going to take away the gross smell of the gelatin. It doesn't have to be completely naturally mixed in, that's it mostly mixed in. It makes it a slightly thicker consistency and it is easier to apply. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take my mixture, I'll not be needing the spoon, and I'm just going to pour that over my hair, starting at the end, and just work it in. Actually feels really good. If your hair needs the protein, then it feels really good in your hair. If at this point you weren't sure if your hair needed protein, if as you started to apply it, your hair started to feel really, really awful and like straw and tangly, then I'd recommend stopping, rinsing it off and adding a protein-free like moisturising conditioner, and then just go about your wash day. If your hair needs the protein, it shouldn't at this point be feeling really dry and tangly. See, I can still just get my hands through that, no problem. So I'm pouring it into my hands and then applying it. Now it smells lovely because of the conditioner. Okay, the last bit. And the mixture is soaking into my hair. The gelatin is starting to set just a little bit. So at this point, once it's fully applied, I'm just going to twist it up. Use my clip. And then you can either put a shower cap on or you can just leave it. I'm going to put the shower cap on just to stop any potential drips. And I'm going to leave that for a good half an hour. You can leave it as long or as little as you want to. I'm going to leave that for, yeah, probably half an hour, 40 minutes, and then come back and we can rinse it out. So that was definitely more than 40 minutes. I got distracted. But it's okay, it's fine. Because it's been under the shower cap and because of the conditioner added to the gelatin mixture, it doesn't set completely. I can feel it a little bit sort of crispy around the edges, but the actual main body of it doesn't set hard and crispy. If you don't add the conditioner, then and if you leave it out in the air, like without a shower cap on, it can go hard and sort of almost like a cast on your hair, but I prefer to add the conditioner, and I also prefer that it's a little bit easier to rinse out because it's not completely solid once it's finished doing its thing. But it's completely up to you, you don't have to add the conditioner. I just find it makes it easier to apply and just more pleasant. So I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this out. You're going to want to use decently warm water to sort of start dissolving that gelatin. So my hair clearly needed that because it still feels soft. Even though I've just had a gelatin treatment on it for nearly an hour, it doesn't feel at all dry or rough. It feels lovely. So I'm gonna use my favorite clarifying shampoo, which is the Naughty Detox Dynamo. It's not gonna undo the protein treatment, it's clarifying, but it's still sulfate free, it's still gentle. But I just wanna use something that, you know, I'm gonna make sure that I get all this gelatin out of my hair. So, if you've done a gelatin treatment and at the point of rinsing it off or washing your hair afterwards, your hair feels very, very brittle and dry and tangly and straw-like, then I would say that your hair probably would benefit from following up with a deep conditioner. But if you do the gelatin treatment like I have and your hair feels lovely, then there's absolutely no need to follow up with a deep conditioner. And if your hair doesn't need that extra conditioning, you can actually just tip it over into over conditioned. For me, there's absolutely no point in doing a protein treatment and then following it up with a deep conditioner, so I never do because I know my hair doesn't need it. There are definitely people who would need it, whose hair needs the protein, but also they need that extra bit of moisture to sort of soften it back up again after the protein treatment. So it just depends on your hair and how it feels. And there is some misinformation out there saying that if you do a protein treatment, you must follow it up with a deep conditioner, but it's just not the case for some people. So I'm adding a bit more shampoo to my lengths because obviously I'm just being extra careful to get all of that gelatin out of my hair.
I'm just going to rinse out that shampoo, and then I'm going to condition and squish to condition as normal. So I have just sped right through this because it's just the same as I would normally squish to condition, but I thought I would show it seeing as it is part of the wash day process. Just use that conditioner, add water, do like a trickle rinse so that your scalp gets rinsed, and squish all of that conditioner and water back into your hair. And do this a few times until as much of that conditioner is out as you want it to be.
Okay, so we're done. My hair feels insanely good. Oh, my drains are noisy. My hair feels so good. It feels really quite plumped up, like I suppose that's the protein filling in those gaps in the hair shaft. But yeah, it feels great. So I'm really excited to go style it and oh, those drains. I'm excited to style it and see how it turns out. So I'm just going to squeeze out all excess water just so that we can go upstairs without dripping water everywhere. And yeah, let's go style. Okay, look how shiny my hair looks. I know it's still wet, but still that looks crazy shiny. So I've put my perfect hair care towel over my shoulders just to keep myself from getting absolutely soaked. By the way, have I told you guys that I have a discount code for the perfect hair care towel? There it is. You know I use this all the time and have for years. It is my favourite towel. And the Perfect Hair Care gave me a discount code to use on their Amazon stores. So they sell on Amazon in loads of different countries. So, and I'll put the discount code and the link in the description box. But if you order through Amazon, you get, I think it's a 10% discount. And they don't often do discount codes, so it's definitely worth taking a look. I do highly recommend it. It is my favourite towel. There's just something about it, so good. We're gonna style, and do you know what I haven't done for ages? Absolutely ages, is a full brush style. So I think we might do that today. Let's just go all out. We've done a gelatin treatment. We may as well see how good we can get this hair to look today. So I have picked Trailux products because they have got a bit of protein in them, but they are also quite moisturizing, quite conditioning. So I'm hoping they'll give me a good balance. So we're going to use a little bit of the 4-in-1 hydrating cream and the Curl Supreme, and also the high definition gel, but we're gonna go fairly light on the products, I think, because yeah, I don't want to overdo it and I want it to be light and bouncy, and I'm hoping that that gelatin treatment is going to have given it a lot of spring back. So that's the Curl Supreme cream. It's really solid. It's a really thick, luxurious cream. It's lovely. My hair is still dripping wet, as you can probably see, so I'm just going to stick a finger in to the cream and get a small blob and rub that between my hands, and I'm just going to start raking it through my dripping wet hair. Whether or not you should use products with protein in your routine after you've done a protein treatment really depends on your hair. A bit like what I was saying about whether or not to deep condition. It depends how your hair feels, and you know your hair, and perhaps you're at the start of your journey and you don't know your hair quite as well, and so you're just not really sure. So what I would say is, if your hair at this stage is feeling lovely and soft and you can get your fingers through it no problem, like I can, then by all means use styling products that have a bit of protein. It's probably not going to do any harm whatsoever. However, if your hair at this stage is feeling a little bit rough, a little bit tangly, you don't have to panic. You know, if you just feel like it feels just a bit different to normal, then I would go with moisturizing, protein-free products, something that's going to just soften that and condition that hair a little bit more. So it really just depends how your hair feels. It's all about getting your hands in your hair, learning how your hair normally feels, and that helps you to learn how it feels when it's just a little bit off and when you need to rebalance it. And I actually have a video showing how I came back from like an almost protein overload within the space of one styling session, and I will link that because I think it's good. You can actually see what the hair looks like when it's got that little bit too much protein in it, so I will link that for you. So that's it, that's all the curl cream that I am going to add. I'm not going to add any more, and I'm going to start sectioning off. So we're going to go just about ear level for the first section. Get the rest of that out of the way, and then I tend to just bring it over each shoulder like this. So can't get in it. That's the problem when you're styling your hair. You've got hair all over your hands, shed hair, and it's slippy from products and from water, and what a mess. It's not a glamorous life, this, you know. So it's the high definition gel. It's a lovely souffle type gel. It smells beautiful. And again, I'm not going to go crazy. I'm just sort of going to dip 2 fingers in like that. That's plenty for that section. Plenty, plenty, plenty. Possibly even too much. Okay, so just rake it through thoroughly, and now, oh, there's still loads left on my hands. I'm going to use my So Soon bristle brush today. It's got the dual bristles, it's got the short bristles and then the longer plastic ones. This is from Amazon and it's an excellent brush, sort of a dupe for the Behairful brush. So I think, and it's around about £10, $10 on Amazon. I'll link it in the description box below. And I am going to do proper brush styling. It's been so long since I've done brush styling. Really, really has. I've been just doing sort of my quick version of brush styling recently, just for speed, just because I haven't been able to be bothered. But today I'm feeling like doing a bit more of a full routine. Let's go for it. Let's see what we can get. And my hair, as I've said many times before, you're not going to see those amazing instantly sprung back curls when I do brush styling when it's wet. It basically takes until my hair is dry for you to see the benefits of doing this, and I think that that's often the case with looser curl patterns, wavy hair or wavy curly hair like mine. It can really work, but it doesn't look like it's working when you're doing it, if that makes sense. So like the first few times I was thinking, why am I bothering? It's just not, it's doing nothing. But I was so shocked after I dried it and realized what a difference it made to the definition, but also the longevity. That's one of the things that I find is my biggest reason for doing like a full brush style like this, is that my curls last so well. They last like a full week, and they also refresh so well. You can do just the very bare minimum to it on say day 3 or 4, and the results are insane. Okay, this side is always a little bit curlier. Right, so now, it's tricky when you're brush styling to keep, I'm just hooking that on my belt there, to keep the styled section and the non-styled yet sections away from each other. So what I do is when I take down the next piece that I'm going to brush style, as I take it down, I'll just twist it like this. And then I know that that's the bit I'm going to be doing next, and it stops it from getting confused with the rest. So just 2 fingers in the gel for this section. I can definitely feel a difference in the texture of my hair since doing that gelatin treatment. It doesn't feel bad or rough, it just feels a bit different. It just feels a little bit, maybe stronger, maybe a little bit, slightly coarser perhaps is the word, because that protein is, as we said, filling in those gaps. So it makes sense that it would feel a little bit coarser. Okay, so brush through and then brush away, almost like you're curling a piece of ribbon, you know, when you're sort of putting up that bit of tension on the hair and holding it nice and tightly when you're pushing away from the head. Gives it a lovely smooth curl. And you don't want to brush style all your hair in one direction. Like you want to sort of, I like to brush it about 90 degrees from the head all over. So these sections I'll kind of pull back this way, this section I'll pull this way, and the back I'll pull straight back. And it just helps the hair to fall where, you know, you want it to fall, so you get good scalp coverage, especially if you've got lower density hair. you don't want to pull all the hair to one direction, and then it's going to leave your scalp a little bit exposed in some places. So making sure it's sort of evenly, it's going to lie evenly around your head, if that makes sense. And always pinching and lifting, or even just laying your hands underneath at the roots. So you can either pinch the root like this and give it a shake, or you can just lay your fingers underneath the root like that and shake. Either way works. Right, I think I've done all of that. I have seen some people clip away the sections of their hair that's already been styled to stop it getting tangled with the non-styled sections. But personally, I feel like for my hair type, that's gonna interfere with what I've just done with the brush styling and potentially lead to wonky curls. So I don't do that, but I have seen people do that, so it's a possibility for you. Another 2 fingers of gel. Such great slip on this gel. It's such a really, really conditioning gel. Although it contains protein, it's really, really conditioning. Always makes my hair really soft, which is again a reason why I think it's probably good to use after doing the protein treatment. I'm just going to brush that section through, and then I'm going to split it in 2 because it's a slightly bigger section, just so that it's easier to keep track of what I've actually brush styled. Okay, I'm going to speed through now the rest of this brush styling, otherwise you're going to get bored. So for these sections here, my least curly section right here, what I like to do is brush style in the direction that, you know, I know my hair goes back and away from my face, and then give it just a little finger twirl just to help it in the right direction. And that just, hopefully, I find usually helps a little bit with the definition. A little bit with the definition just around about that section. And then a good scrunch, and then I'll go and check it in the mirror, just make sure that all the curls are going the direction that they should be, and yeah, then it will be time to diffuse. So some of them are definitely looking a bit weird and wonky, but I think that's mostly down to this weird parting that I put in. I don't even know what I was doing with that parting, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to diffuse it now, and I'll maybe change my parting once it's dry, but for now I'm going to leave it alone and diffuse. Okay, it is completely dry, and look how shiny! It's so shiny. This side, right, this side is being a perfect angel. Look at all the ringlets. It is absolute ringlet city over here. Wow. This side is fine, but it's being a bit of a weirdo. Like, this bit is just got a lot of almost straight pieces, and underneath is curly, but not like the uniform ringlets that I've got over here, but it's okay, it's okay. My front Sawyer the Annoyer is just being his usual annoying self, but that's okay, we'll just tuck him away. But overall, yeah, it's really definitely bouncy, and it's the shine that I can't get over. So I'll do a little 360. So, really pleased, really happy with those results, especially this side. I wish my whole head was these curls, but you know, we got those multiple curl patterns, and I'm always saying in videos that we have to embrace our multiple curl patterns, so that's what I'm gonna do today. So have you tried a gelatin protein treatment before, or will you try one now that you've seen this video? It's pretty easy, right? And it's very inexpensive. You can buy gelatin in supermarkets, you can buy it like in the grocery store, depending on where you live, what you call it. And you can buy it in little sachets, and if you're buying it in sachets, basically just use a sachet at a time. I think the sachets are usually like 12 grams or something, but it is cheaper to buy it like I did, a bigger amount, and then just, you know, use a big old spoonful each time. You can also use leaf gelatin, which is like comes in leaves, and you dissolve that in water. You can use that as well. You can use any type of gelatin. It's such an easy and inexpensive way to get a real protein boost into your hair. So let me know in the comments if you have done one before, or if you're going to do one now. And thanks as always for being here. I will see you guys soon. Bye.